Hello, hello. So, day 2 material, and we are talking about what makes a good day 2, day 1. What makes a good photograph? And I think it might surprise you. So, part of the thing about a good photograph is we have to understand why we take photographs in the first place, what our motivation is. So, how can you expect to pick up a camera and know you can have all the technical skill in the world to press the right button and all of the different buttons on it, but if you don't know what you're pointing it out and you don't know what you're looking at, your photograph could look a mess. But sometimes a mess is what you want. Is it, Lizzie? Why would a mess be what I want on my photograph? Well, we shall find out. Do you like this cool pooch that I found? He's pretty awesome, isn't he? Let's make him bigger. And so let's hide that. This is an awesome photograph because it makes me smile. Somebody has a dog who basically has a beard. That's pretty cool. But then, there you go, you can see him a bit better there. But then, do you know what makes him even cooler? He's wearing shades, and that tells a story. You can see he's in that, what looks like an office. That doesn't look like a kitchen to me. And so, here is one cool, chilled out pooch. And they've got down low, and he's relaxing. I'd say that is a good photograph. You may disagree. The red chair in the background, very distracting. Maybe it's not such a good photograph for you. So let's have a look. Let's see what else we have. We need my mouse over there so that I can. There you go. Maybe you think this is a good photograph. Compositionally, his beard, his mane, is blending in with the snowy hill. However, that is an amazing close-up shot, seeing all of his teeth bared. I mean, look at the detail there. Did you know that the teeth had these lines in? Because obviously nobody brushes them for him. And then the lips peeling back and the details. That's a good photograph in that that's an action shot. Would you be able to capture that precise second, do you think? I know one of you at least has a parent who's a photographer, so maybe you've learned the importance of one moment, because you can take 20 photos and miss something happening, but you can stop if you can see it coming and you can wait and go, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's here, click. And just because if you're too busy taking photos everywhere, you miss the moment. So sometimes you've got to be still and slow down to get that good photograph. You've got to know what is happening. Maybe you think, this is a good photograph. I'd say this is a pretty epic photograph. You can see as he's eating his nut, the crumbs are literally falling. Just here, can you see them? They're literally falling from his mouth. And he's perched on this little stick, so he's got no distractions around him because the background's really blurred, so he's in full focus. So you look at that photo and you go, squirrel! So that, you could say, is a good photograph. But you need a certain level of technical skill to get a photograph like that, because you need to be in the right place, at the right time, having waited still enough that you've not scared him off, maybe put the food there for him to attract him in the first place, and you've used your camera well to make sure that the photo's not too dark, you can still see him. It's not too bright, it's not like it's glowing white. So, this could be a good photograph. But then you could argue that this, which is made with a little rubber chicken's egg, might actually be a better photograph because this is comical and this makes us laugh. That took care and attention and time and effort. But this, could you argue that laughing and being made to smile and finding something funny is actually a better thing? So for you, if you love to make humour the main thing, if you love to make it all about making other people laugh, maybe this is better by a long way for you than the squirrel, the horse. Maybe you like the dog. You're with me on the dog. So, but then you could actually recruit your sister, your brother, somebody else in the family. So this is a really simple one. You've got a kitchen wall behind the head. She's got 2 eggs out the fridge, and she's just stood there, covered her eyes, and she's pulling her face. Can I see your best faces? You need to take little photos of them and put your faces on this. That will make me smile. So there, that is a good photo because there's no distractions. You're looking straight at her. There's nothing around. There's not all stuff and things, and you're not going, oh, look there, look there, look there, look there, look there, look there, look there. No, we are looking at her and the eggs on her eyes and going, that's a bit weird, that's different. And it makes you look twice, doesn't it? Because it's not normal. Maybe in your kitchen. Or is this better? Because that's just somebody pulling a face, and you see that all the time. But how swanky are these buildings, and the fact they both come up into the middle with the lines and they feel like they're twisting. You know they're straight, but the perspective feels like it's twisting, like you're in the Matrix. What do you reckon? That's changing perspective. It's not what we see every day. So we see our sister, brother, person in school pulling a face every day. But we don't look up and see what's above us every day, do we? So sometimes just changing your perspective can make a very good photo because it surprises us and it feels different. Is that a terrible photo? Because it's blurry, because they've not managed to get the camera still? Or is it amazing because they caught the sense of motion, and what they wanted to do was get the colour palette and basically paint with their camera as they span at high speed and say, this is a beach, but I don't want you looking at the seaweed and looking at this detail and that detail. I want you to get the sense of we're moving, we're running, things are happening so fast, and the wind's blowing through our hair, and it's an overcast day, but you can feel the warmth of the sea salt on your skin, and you get that sense of the clouds moving at a different speed to the sea moving, to the sand moving. So it gives movement, it gives energy, it gives a real sense of emotion. Whereas this is still. We're calm. The sun is beautiful. This is a masterpiece. And you could argue this is a terrible photo because, look, well, that's rubbish by comparison. But then, what are you trying to capture? What emotion? Like, this is peace. This is like, wow. I'm in awe of that. Look at the amazingness of that sunset. And then this is a beach. And you could go, that's a terrible photo. She's out of focus. But then you could go, actually, I'm looking at the sea and I'm with this girl and I'm focused on the sea and the two of us are by the beach and I'm not thinking about her in this moment. I'm looking with her at the sea. So this tells me and reminds me of what I was feeling when I took it. So some photos are good because they're personal to us and our memories, and what we attach to the photo isn't necessarily a good photo, but our memories get attached to the photo. See the difference there? It doesn't have to physically look good to be good, because sometimes a photograph is about a feeling or an emotion that it evokes. Have you ever taken a photo to evoke an emotion? I wonder. So let's see what we got next. And so, talking of blurry, they've managed to get this wall perfectly still. I'm guessing they've put the camera on something solid so that it's flat, maybe a tripod. Maybe they've lent it up against a wall on the other side. They're in an alleyway. Maybe they found a brick or something to lean it against. And this guy has gone past and the shutter's gone open, close. So they've deliberately made it take a long time to take the photo. Instead of going, you know, like some flash guns, it's gone. And he's been able to move, so you've got that sense of, here's a dark, mysterious figure. What's going on here? He's got his hood up. We don't see his face. We don't see his arms, his skin. We don't know what he looks like. He looks too thin almost because of the forward motion. He looks like he's almost half disappeared. It's a mystery. And here, this photo makes you feel a bit dizzy because it's nowhere is it in focus. But what does it tell you? It tells you the sneaked photo of a bus journey. It tells you everyday life. You see the little kid there. See this kid sat on the knee. See these people coming back to grab the seats while the bus has started moving, trying not to fall over. That's why he's gone forward, because he's jolted. And it goes, yeah, I remember those bus rides. I know what they were like. an amazing catalogue shot of a perfect kitchen. Nah, my kitchen ain't like that. I look at that and go, boring, move along. But then other people would say, well, that's a mess, and look at all of those carrier bags in the back, and the cleaning chemical on the floor, and this stuff hanging off a really old oven, and what's going on here, and this is just a mess. But then you could go, well, they've angled it for an exact view. They've got all of the door frames perpendicular and straight. Do you know how hard that is to do? Have you ever tried taking a photograph and getting the angle straight? I mean, look, you can see the corner of my wall there sort of sloping because it's on the camera's on an angle. So even if the wall is straight, if the camera's angled, the wall moves. So to get this all straightened up and to get it exactly straight on, that makes that quite clever. And it tells the story of life. Is this organised toys? They're all facing towards the camera. I think somebody's organised them. There's no way a baby would not have spread them out. To be fair, that's not real life, is it? Perfectly smoothed out duvet, eiderdown, whatever you want to call it, blanket. And then the toys all neatly facing the camera. Probably not real life, but it's a very smart photo. Boring, but smart. And then you take this one and you go, whole heap of rubbish. Heap of rubbish. Absolute heap of rubbish. But do you know what's good about this one? This tells the story of busy days. It reminds you of your favourite foods. You think of the different things. Oh, Starbucks. Oh, I could just have a panini right now. Oh, a hot chocolate. Ooh. But then you look at it and you go, all of this waste and all of this bad environmental stuff. So this speaks a message of consumerism and environmentalism and all those different sort of things vying it out. So it's an ugly photo, yes, but it's got a political agenda. It's telling a story. It's documenting what's happening in life. So when you're thinking about what makes a good photo, that's very much a sign of the now, isn't it? An abandoned mask dirtied on the floor. But look, it's not just a mask. The mask is straight, right down the middle, and then they've got diagonal of grass. Clever. This mug, on the one hand, this is a question perspective. It's on an MDF bit of worktop and it looks messy and stuff, and it's got some sun coming over and all sorts. Crop it in over here, change the angle slightly. It's a clear background, just moving can make a difference. I always have to have a Lego man. Love a Lego man. Is this a good photo? You've cut their faces off. You can't see who they are, but you can see the chalk. The main bit of the story is the chalk. It's his joy. He's laughing. It's the sun. It's the expression. It's the growl. You can hear that crocodile roar. This is an out of focus old Polaroid, but how cheeky is that little lad going, pulling his tongue next to his sister who's trying hard not to laugh. And then this looks really polished and they're like models or something because they're not being real. Just like, do you ever do that when you have your photo taken? Whereas this is like, come on, pull! And that's real emotion. And there's the guy laughing going, are we actually pulling yet? This tells the story of her hobby, of her painting. This photo's good because we see what makes him him. This photo's interesting because we know what it's like to spend a day out exploring, adventure, fun, jumping in the air. That's a moment of pure joy. I'm just going to jump, and they've got down low, lower than he is when he jumps, so that he looks really big. Whereas that you could say is an epic photo because how on earth have they conquered him literally hovering and flying? Well, there's some kind of weird jiggery-pokery and layering of photos going on there, but there we go. Interesting. We're using colour. We're pulling faces. Is it good or is it bad? You tell me. He's not even got his eyes open. There's an awkward shadow across his face. But it's like somebody's grabbing it. This one. They've missed it entirely. The car at the bottom of the road is in focus and he's not. But is it telling the story of somebody who's feeling a bit dejected, hugging their knees, feeling a bit sad? Real tears, but is that too dark? This is far too dark, but then look at that line down her nose of light. See, the things that make a good photo change depending on what you're trying to tell. So, your challenge today should you choose to accept it. See? Look up at the sky, look at the water. Very different photos, both very good. But then had that just been a plain sky of just the colour here, had we zoomed in and just looked at that, it's a bit boring really. So the clouds made that last one. And I don't even know what that is, but that's awesome. So when you are taking your photo today, I want you to express yourself. I want it to be something that shows who you are. Your challenge, and the reason we've not gone into like specific techniques and we've just given an overview, is because your challenge is to understand that what you are thinking makes the difference when you take your photo. So go take your photo. I want you to share it. We're going to put the post up and it's going to say who you are. Now, I've given you an introductory assignment to say what your name is, where you're from, tell us a bad joke, what would you do if you had loads of money. This is, what does it look like? Are you going to take a shot down of your legs and your feet so it's sort of the view you see every day when you look down and you think, yep, that's how I see me, because you don't look at your own face, do you? But you do look at your feet sometimes. Or is it going to be some of the things in your environment that you think sum you up? Like a shot of your kitchen, your bedroom, your garden. Are you going to try and take a selfie or put a camera off to one side and use something on timer mode and then run into place and then stand there and look off wistfully in the distance? You decide. This is to tell the story of you. But I want you to tell us what it is that you went for. Did you go for your emotion? Were you trying to convey that you were excited, happy, sad type of person? That you were talkative, that you were quiet, that you were reflective, that you were peaceful? Were you going for telling the story of your environment and the things that are like you like to make people laugh, so it's something that's funny, like that egg? Do you remember the egg? Or that you like to catch the moments, you listen, and then you jump into the conversation. So it's that moment, like the horse. What is it that you think characterizes you, makes you, makes you the only person who is like you? Find a way to take a photo of that, or to say that it's something that's like, if everybody knew, they would be like, oh yeah, Lewis always wears blue. It's blue, it's got to be Lewis. You know, what is it that people describe you as? What do they think of you as? That's your challenge. Try and make that visual. Off you go. And we will see you for the Zoom call. I will be dropping the event in the thing now.